Welcome back, everyone. My name is Holden, and I am your host for the Youth Unmuted podcast. This is a team-led podcast with the Boys and Girls Club of Benton County, where we share unique stories that relate to today's youth. Let's get started. What is up, everyone? My name is Holden, and I am from the Boys and Girls Club of Benton County. We are get to be a part of the first episode of Youth Unmuted, and I have an amazing special guest with you guys today. His name is Malcolm Mitchell. He's with Cox Communication. He is a digital access ambassador, and he is passionate about helping young people thrive in today's digital world. He was a former Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots and a standout at the University of Georgia. He has since turned the page from playbooks to picture books as a celebrated children's author and advocate for literacy. His journey shows club kids that resilience and hard work can open doors on the field, in the classroom, and in life. So Malcolm, it's a pleasure to have you.
I appreciate that intro.
Yeah, no problem. All right. So as we get started, first, can you tell me what is special about your partnership with Cox?
Well, I grew up in an under-resourced community, which means we didn't have access to certain things. Some will call it a poverty pocket, or there are some food insecurities in a book desert. So the idea of opportunity and having access to things that would allow you to believe that there are opportunities outside of your immediate circumstances were restricted. I grew up in that environment, but I also had the luxury to go to a university. I had the luxury to play in the NFL. I had the luxury to have all these amazing experiences like sitting here with you having this conversation. So I know the importance of having access. So when Cox came along and offered this opportunity to go into different communities and talk about what it means to have access and how the internet powers that, it meant a lot to me because I could speak on some of the things that I saw as a child growing up.
Absolutely. That's amazing. And it just really makes you think about the different worlds that we all come from.
Exactly.
We're all one country, we're all from America, but the different aspects of everyone's life, where everyone comes, they can really unite together. And that's something that you're a part of. And that's really amazing.
Yeah, we're in Arkansas right now having this conversation, but I've had the privilege of traveling to many different places in this country, and we all face similar challenges. And truthfully, we all have similar hopes and ambitions for the future. Can we lock arms, have authentic conversations like we're having right now, and find the best path forward? And I respect Cox because they're trying to do that. They're trying to say, hey, we understand the challenges. We understand the opportunities. Let's see what we can provide to help get us further.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I know you've already touched on it a little bit, but what has really inspired you and made you want to become a digital ambassador for Cox?
People like you. I mean, seriously, I remember growing up and not understanding what the world truly had to offer, but having this desperate desire to make a difference. And I know that's not just isolated to me. I know it's not just isolated to you. There are millions of kids around this country who want to be the best version of themselves. But sometimes we face situations and circumstances that we didn't decide, we were just born into, that create challenges that distract us from our true potential. I am known to be an optimist. I am known to have this overwhelming belief that all people have value. So to me, it's how do I play my role in this larger ecosystem of kind of encouraging those positive outcomes. And being with Cox gives me an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And to me, what you're saying is your circumstances do not define you. Who you are as a person, where you're from, what you were born into, that is not who you are. You can overcome that and just really be your own person. And you're a walking example of that.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's something super amazing that you walk the walk and talk the talk. So that's super awesome that you're here, and just being able to speak on that is super cool.
Yeah, but it requires certain ingredients. And to me, hope is a very important one, right? Hope and belief that I can be more than the challenges that I'm facing, that I can overcome those challenges. There's another ingredient I think is important, which is access, right? You can have hope, right? You play basketball?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Imagine if you wanted to be a good basketball player, but you never had a basketball. Well, how do you practice becoming a better basketball player?
You can't.
You can't. So you can have all the hope you want. You can have all the belief that's possible one person possessing, but you still need a basketball.
Yeah. That's right. And that access is exactly what it sounds like Cox is trying to do, is
Right.
make that for everyone. That's something super cool. So I want to know, how do you see digital literacy and traditional literacy working together to empower youth?
Yeah. So when I was growing up, I struggled to read. But later on, I found out that reading was the most self-empowering tool we could possess. So I set out to be a better reader. And through reading, my perspective broadened. So just imagine me seeing the world through a lens that was this small. Once I began to read, that lens widened. And through the widening of that lens, the belief I had in what I could do in the world shifted drastically. I thought I could only be a football player. Well, reading showed me something different through access to that information. Well, as I think critically about what the internet is doing, yes, it provides a platform for us to explore whatever we choose to explore. But through that exploration, we're getting access to information. And to me, digital literacy is understanding how to use the internet to get access to credible information, use that information to help us make strategic decisions to get us further down the path of accomplishing our objectives. I think traditional literacy and digital literacy host the same opportunity, which is access, right? Through that access, we can see further, we can go further, we can believe further, we can dream bigger dreams, we can have hope that's unwavering. But we have to think about it differently than, hey, let's just see who's wearing the coolest stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And
You
it's
know?
just like the social media like that we have today, it's like another way to like amplify people's like stories and like who they are. And like just today, like being able to be on this podcast and them getting to hear a little about who you are and like what you overcome, like that's something that is still like new to this world and that we're learning to adapt to. And that's super cool that you've been able to really like just be able to connect to both of those and like use that as your platform.
Well, I appreciate that. I do. And I think if used strategically, those are two powerful tools that can take a person wherever they want to go.
Yeah. So with that being said, can you share an impactful story or achievement from your work with the Share Magic Foundation that exemplifies your core mission and the positive change in your life?
Yeah. I created Share the Magic Foundation in 2016. The mission is to inspire kids to read. As I told you, I grew up a struggling reader, went through the process of acquiring the skill to read proficiently. And I think that's what led me to where I am in this very moment. I've traveled this country promoting literacy, encouraging kids to read, writing books for students to read. Wrote one for Cox called A World Within Reach. And on these journeys, I meet kids every day who desire to grow up and do something meaningful.
Yeah.
I've never run into a student who desires to drop out of school, who desires to go to jail, who desires to live in a cycle of poverty. Those aren't the things that I witness. So the examples I would say is when I walk into the room, I have a football, but the moment I start talking about literacy and helping them understand how this tool will help, they latch onto the book. And to me, that means a lot.
Yeah. Can you share a little bit about how you're able to start your Share the Magic Foundation?
Reading.
Reading.
Yeah, I had no idea what I was doing when I started off.
Mhm.
I just wanted to help. And I initially started the process of helping by writing picture books for students. And through those picture books, I formed relationships with educators, and they told me how they thought I could support their ambitions in the classroom. So Share the Magic Foundation was really created. Now I went through all the proper paperwork. You have to file for your 501c3 status. You have to get a board of directors, and you have to go through the step-by-step process. But at its core, it was community. A community of educators encouraged me to establish something that they thought would be helpful, and I wanted to help. So I did it.
Yeah, community is something you mentioned, and like with the Boys and Girls Club, like the community is something so strong and like something that we like to support so much, because being able to give back to a community that like does so much for you, like as a Boys and Girls Club, like we're a nonprofit, and so much of what we have, especially in Northwest Arkansas, comes from the donations and the support we get from the community. So tell us a little about like your community and like how they've been able to support you through your entire journey.
Sir Isaac Newton has a quote, and I'm going to try to articulate it properly. if I have seen further, it's because I've stood on the backs of giants. And I've just had some incredible people in my life that allowed me to step on their back. I don't think that any single human being does anything great on their own. There's a group of people behind you, encouraging, supporting. As we got ready to start this podcast, I'm not sure how many people walked in the room, tried to ensure that you had what you need to be the very best that you can be, right? This idea of self-made or you do it on your own is just not true. There's nothing more powerful than community. Nothing. And I believe that. I think people are more valuable than money. I think people are more valuable than accolades. I think without individuals who support you and lift you up, you can't sustain. It's just impossible. The task is too daunting. And I'm not sure that's how we as people were designed in the first place. I have a question for you, though.
Yes, sir.
Why did you decide to do this?
No, so that's a great question. And honestly, like, it's just the support that I get. Like, I started my Boys and Girls Club journey when I was 6 years old. So I've really been a part of the club for almost 13 years now. And it's kind of just become like who I am, like, as a person, because of like the values that the Boys and Girls Club has. Like, we are constantly like giving back. Like, over the summer, a group of us, Keystone is a community service based organizations for like young adults, 14 to 18 years old. And like what we do is we just find ways to give back. And every summer, like all the Keystones from around the world, and I say the world because we have military bases like all over. And so we got to meet in Chicago this year. That was where our conference was. And I got to be a part of 12 members that got to plan and host that conference. And it was just such a surreal experience to just like see everyone come together and just like communicate and like spread ideas and awareness about like the issues that matter to them and just like how they've been able to like fight those issues and like make those aware and just like get the help. And like you really see like the community that each like member has. Like the Boys and Girls Club has so many amazing like community members and partners like Cox and like yourself. And I just find amazing ways to give back to us and just to truly allow us to thrive. And when I get to come in like these situations and I'm surrounded by people like you and like my advisors and just people at the club, it just like, it makes me feel like happy inside and like stay optimistic for our future because there's so much good in the world and so many people that want to give back. So like being a part of this, like this is just a part of my journey. Like I'm only 17, like I'm just getting started and I want it to continue and I want it to flourish and like getting these opportunities. It's allowed me to really get to like gain new perspectives and, just like really meet new people. And it's just like the connections that I've made and the people that I've got to speak with that like really allow me to like find who I am through like the support of others. And that's something that I'm super grateful for.
I respect that. I think what you're doing is amazing. And yeah, you're 17. I can't wait to see what you do as time goes on.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. You talked a little bit about getting to like make those picture books for others. Like what kind of inspired you to like make those? And like were any of them like based off of memories in your life or like pictures?
I wrote my first picture book in college. It was 2014 when I started writing it. When were you born?
2007.
Come on, man.
7 years old. 7 years old.
Yeah, I was reading a lot, and reading was having a profound impact on the way I was thinking and the way I was solving problems. And I thought to myself, man, I need to tell everybody I know, because I remember me and my classmates being terrified when we had to read aloud. And I knew I was not the only person who struggled with reading. In fact, less than 40% of our students in the country are reading on grade level by third grade. There was an article released this year that reported that 12th grade reading scores are down to the same level they were in 1992. That's before I was born. That's before you were thought about, right? So you think about this evaporation of reading. And if you take away reading, well, you take away all the benefits that are associated with it. And that's just detrimental. That's detrimental to the individual. That's detrimental to the school. That's detrimental to the community. That's detrimental to the state. That's detrimental to the country. Right? And I wanted to do something about it. And I'm one person, understanding my own limitations. I thought a book would be the greatest vehicle. So I started writing picture books to inspire young kids to read. And that inspiration came from my own journey in literacy.
Yeah, that's something super impactful. And I saw that statistic.
Yeah.
And like as like a 12th grader, like as a senior, I was like, that's like upsetting to hear because that can really like can change like the way that people like think and like their decisions were like, wow, like there hasn't been a group that was like not as smart as we were since like 1992. Like with all the advances, like it can be hard. And like I know you
Yeah.
experienced some of that like yourself with like the struggles of reading, like people, it can really weigh on them. And not everyone has that access, like you said, to be able to get the help that you need, especially
Check
in
this
such of
out.
those rural areas.
Check this out.
Yes,
I
sir.
just read an article this morning before I pulled up. And in Kentucky, there's a school that banned cell phones during school operating hours. Now, my first thought is, whoa, because I like my phone too. And I always tell people, don't put a book beside a phone and say, pick one, because that's an easy decision, right? They banned cell phones during school hours, and there was a 40% increase in library visits during the school day. So that forces me to ask the question, in a competitive world, how do you create an environment for the outcome that you want? So if we want more kids to read, if we want more people to use the internet in a meaningful way, well, that may require not granting certain things during certain times. And that makes everyone uncomfortable, which I completely understand. You take my phone away, I have a problem.
Yeah.
Right. But we have to learn how to train our brains to stop us from going down the rabbit hole of what certain platforms allow you to do.
Yeah, and that's interesting that you said that because our school also banned phones. And for me, it's like wow, like obviously I want to be on my phone like when I have free time. But like it does make me think like I have picked up a book more now that I can't be on my phone.
Yeah.
And for some of those students, like myself included, like it always is beneficial to pick up a book, get to learn something new, really get to explore, like what you're learning, but really just getting to find it for yourself. And I think that's something that like books do that like your phones cannot, is like you get to find all the information and decipher it like how you want. Like it's on your own because the author is writing it for you to like come up with your own mind and like decide like in your brain like how you want that story to be made. What do you think is happening next? And like on our phones, like everything that we really like see and hear has been like altered just a little bit by who's ever writing that and like reposting that. So I think that is an interesting statistic.
But I'm forced to ask the question, if we do that with written text within a book, why can't we do that with written post? Right? We'll read a book and say, I don't know if I agree with that. But we could do the same thing. I don't think phones are necessarily the issue. I think it's the way we perceive the information we consume that we have to kind of challenge.
Yeah.
But all information should require critical thought. I don't want to distract us from the point of the podcast too much, but
No, yeah.
I hesitate to blame anything except the person in the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's true. So much of like what we're taking today, like people always say, like take it with like a grain of salt. Just like barely listen to it with a grain of sand. Like listen to like what they're saying. Like so much of what we're hearing, we just like take in like without questioning it. And so like it really like makes you like you got to think about like what you're hearing and like maybe developing those reading skills more and like maybe like learning a little bit about what you're doing that research is like exactly what you need to help you out with that social media and everything. So I agree. And I think that's an interesting point that you have to think about.
But we'll keep thinking about it.
No, yeah, for sure. All right. So getting back, I mean, we touched a lot about the library visits have gone up. You said 40% for that district in Kentucky. So maybe tell us like what is your favorite book or your favorite author that you have?
Oh man, that's hard. I have to I break it down into different categories. I love reading articles on my phone, to be honest with you, because it is easy to access the information. So I'll wake up in the morning and I'll check out a few articles and I'll read them and question them and think about them. I read a lot of picture books. Some of my favorites are "Oh, the Places You'll Go" by Dr. Seuss. I love a book called Exclamation Mark by Amy Krauss Rosenthal. That's the book that really encouraged me to read a lot more and write. I love The Day the Crayons Quit. I read a lot of those. I do have 2 children too, so I read to them, but I also write those type of books too. As it relates to fiction or nonfiction, let's go nonfiction. I really enjoy biographies. I read Malcolm X's biography. I thought it was profound. I think he's one of the individuals that on numerous occasions throughout his life. He started one way, went down this religious path, questioned that religion's path, and then went down another path. And it's just fascinating that a person throughout their entire life until it ended was questioning everything. Whether it's controversial or not, it's just the exercise that I enjoyed watching or reading about him going through. I enjoy, I'm trying to pick up something I read, think of something I read recently that's nonfiction. Economic Facts and Fallacies. I'm reading Fail You now. It's about higher education and how do you quantify whether it's beneficial or not, which is good to challenge. In terms of nonfiction, fiction, Homegoing is a book that I really enjoyed. I just finished a book called Theo of Golden, written by a Georgia author. I'm from Georgia. And someone texted me this morning about reading The Anxious Generation. It's about our attention span and things such as that.
Yeah. So when you talked about those like nonfiction books, like, and you like name those and like what they're about, like over and over in my mind, like I thought about that critical thinking. Like a lot about like those books that you said, like goes back to that critical thinking that we need to have. And I think that's something super cool that kind of just relates. Like you said, that's important that we have that. Then you're like practicing that again by like reading all these books that really like make you think and you get to hear others' perspectives.
Yeah. And I think it's through others' perspective that you grow because you're forced to challenge your own perspective.
Yeah.
Right. Or if you think that because I didn't grow up with a father in my life, if you think that consistently in my life, I'll say that. If you think that that's an excuse for you not to be the best you can be, well, if you read a book about a person who's never known theirs, well, it kind of breaks down your excuses. Mm-hmm. And once you kind of alleviate yourself from that, you can go further. And that's a negative example, but there are positive examples too. If you want to write a book or you read about someone who writes one and you realize they're not that different than you. So I too have all the tools needed to do the same thing. And I think that's just empowering.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I can relate myself. I have never met my father. He hasn't been a part of my life. But like for me, it's kind of just something that like I don't see as like something that sets me back. If anything, I just use it to like lift me up. And like I think of like my mom and how much she's done a great job. Like
they're amazing, aren't they?
Mother. Yeah.
I don't know how they do it.
I don't
have siblings.
I don't. It's just I'm an only child.
Man, I have 3. I mean, it's 3 of us total. Mm-hmm. I'm the middle. So I had to deal with a lot of Malcolm in the middle.
Yeah,
don't you do it?
That's what I was thinking of. But I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna.
But moms are amazing. I appreciate you sharing that too.
Yeah,
I know it's not always easy to say.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate that. So we do have one more question for you on this part 1. But before we get there, I want to play a game, if that's all right with you.
Come on.
All right. So this is called Rapid Fire. I'm going to ask you around 10 rapid fire questions. And you're just like, as fast as you can, you're just going to respond. All right. You ready?
Okay, yeah.
All right. What is your favorite comfort food?
Skittles.
All right. If you were a superhero, what would you want your power to be?
Fly.
What is your guilty pleasure?
Skittles.
If you had a theme song, what would it be?
Making my way downtown, walking fast. I think I heard that on a movie called White Chicks.
Yeah. Morning or evening?
Oh, morning.
Morning. Pancakes or waffles?
Both.
Okay. Going in or staying out?
Going in.
Pet dinosaur or pet dragon?
Dragon.
Favorite movie?
The Dark Knight.
Okay. What is your spirit animal?
Sea turtle.
Favorite snack?
Skittles.
What would you rather explore, the ocean or the outer space?
Ocean.
Favorite cartoon?
SpongeBob.
Okay, that's it. What I learned from that is you need to get this man some Skittles. He really likes the Skittles.
Yeah.
All right, I love me some
Wild
Skittles.
berry.
Yeah,
Wild berry. Very
purple,
specific.
that's purple.
That's
pack.
purple pack.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And my favorite animal is probably a turtle. So spirit animal, I could definitely see turtle being that.
Yeah.
All right, well that was super fun. And last question we have.
Do we have time? I want to do it to you.
Oh, yeah, I guess we do. Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Favorite comfort food?
Nachos.
If you're a superhero, what would you want your power to be?
Teleportation.
That's a good one. What's your guilty pleasure?
It's just nachos again.
Okay. If your life had a theme song, what would it be?
The theme song to Friends. You know that one?
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do. Can you sing it?
Sometimes was gonna be this way.
Respect.
Something like that.
Yes. Morning or evening?
Evening.
Pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
Going out or staying? Going in or staying out?
Staying out.
Pet dinosaur or pet dragon?
Pet dragon.
Favorite movie?
Shrek.
Whoa, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
What's your spirit animal?
Turtle.
Favorite snack?
Nachos again.
Okay. What would you rather explore, the ocean or explore outer space?
The ocean.
Respect. Favorite cartoon?
I'm gonna do like a Disney show.
Yeah.
I was really big into iCarly as a kid.
She just did a new movie, I think, on one of those streaming platforms. That's
Okay.
now.
I'll have to watch that.
Miranda
Cosgrove.
Yeah. I was a fan of her as well.
Yeah.
You know?
So thanks. That was super fun. We got some similarities. Might need to reline the Friends theme song.
Yeah, it's all good.
No, yeah, we'll get that.
Great attempt.
Yeah, thank you. All right. And the last one I have for you is, what is one habit or mindset that teens can start building now if they want to chase big dreams, whether that's shooting for a spot in the NFL or becoming a widely popular author?
Read. Trust me.
Yeah.
I've been able to make it as a professional athlete, and I've seen the world from many different perspectives. I don't know everything by any means. I would say I don't know anything, to be honest with you, but I do know the power of reading will change the outcome of our lives.
Yeah, I mean, that's inspirational. And like getting to hear like everything that you've been through and everything that you overcame and what you're still doing, like to this day, like reading sounds exactly what you did. You've become like the superstar you are today. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you being open and honest with me.
Yeah.
Being able to like give your time to come out here today. That is all we have for part 1, but part 2 is going to come out November 18th, and we're going to get to hear a lot more about your NFL career and what that was like. So thank everyone for tuning in, and thanks for coming on this podcast.
Appreciate you.
No problem.
Thank you all for tuning in. Again, I am Holden, your host. Please like this video and subscribe to Youth Unmuted wherever you get your podcast. Until next time, peace.